Next, we have Daniel Hazen. Can Daniel come to the stage? Yeah. A psychiatric survivor and activist from New York State, Daniel is a human rights activist and survivor of the psychiatric and penal systems. He is one of the founding members of the Center for Human Rights of Users and Survivors of Psychiatry. Currently, Daniel is the executive director of Voices of the Heart, Incorporated, a membership organization located in Hudson Falls, New York, that promotes and defends the rights and interests of people who have been labeled mentally ill. Welcome, Daniel.
Good morning. I'm a little emotional. So, what I don't want to talk about my story. So I do want to say thank you. There's some history on the way up on our bus here from New York State that is here in the room and around us. And what I want to say is that I'm free today because of those people, and that's George Ebert and David Oakes and Dorothy Dundas and Jim Godstein and David Gonzalez, who I can't believe you're here, and others, Susan, all the people who fought for our freedom when many of us were locked up. So I wanted to recognize that. I was trapped in a system, two systems, which was the psychiatric industry as well as the prison industrial complex. And I escaped psychiatry through the prison system. And it's an odd story, and I would talk about it some other time. And what I really want to remind us is there's so many people locked up still. That's why, we are free, but there's many people we're forgetting about. And it's not to be mean. There's people with involuntary outpatient commitments who told me they couldn't come here today. They couldn't get on a bus because they couldn't go out of our state. And I want us to remind ourselves every day that those people can't get to the places that we can get to, and that we need to, like Jim says, to come out with signs, to stand up. Even if you're part of peer support and peer organizations, we have to rise above the system telling us what we can do and what we can say. And I know that with the crew that I came up with from Voices of the Heart, we're trying to do that. We're not going to let them stop us from speaking out and speaking up. So that's a challenge from me, myself, is to speak up. So I want to remind you that probably when we return to New York State that Governor Cuomo is about to set upon us what's called the Gunther Bill, and he's going to push through legislation with this Gunther Bill to really close the gaps on involuntary outpatient commitment, also disguised as assisted outpatient treatment, Kendra's Law in New York State. And so we're going to need some help in the next few days from people all over this country. I'm not sure how we're going to totally do it, but we're going to have to do something. When we return on the bus, we're going to plan and strategize, but we need everybody. Just because it's our little state, we need our country to rally around us. This will not allow people to escape psychiatry in any way in the mental health system. So I'm psyched to see that David and Mind Freedom hung this sign on human rights. So one thing I'm not really good at is speaking, but one thing I like to do is kind of rile up our crew and chant. So what I'd like to do is, I would like to say, what do we want? And you say human rights. And when do we want them? Now. So what do we want? Human rights!